Honestly, even just the fact that we were able to find this place at all, I wouldn't rule out devil worship. Like, I wouldn't rule out some kind of witchcraft. What's up, you guys? My name is Liz. If you don't know me, I'm a postgrad student at the University of Glasgow. Recently, I was fortunate enough to have my parents come and visit me here in Scotland and showed them all around Glasgow, obviously, took them to all of my favorite spots. And then we did quite a bit of sightseeing throughout the rest of Scotland. And by that I mean, they told me I could plan the itinerary, so I made them drive me to everywhere in Scotland that I wanted to go but hadn't been yet. And one of those places was Finnich Gorge, otherwise known as the Devils Pulpit. Spooky name. If you don't know what this is, Finnich Gorge is, well, it's a gorge. It's a very deep ravine out in the middle of the woods. Semi in the middle of nowhere, although it is possible. I think it is possible to get there by transit if you're willing to take a long walk as well. But the gorge itself, it's filled with these moss-covered rocks and trees and this large kind of mushroom-shaped stone, and that itself is the Devil's Pulpit. It's where the devil gets up and gives his sermons for the devil worshippers, I guess. And it's also known for its red waters running through the ravine. It's like this rust red color. The water itself isn't actually red, but that comes from the sandstone that is all throughout the gorge and in the sand and the silt, and it's just everywhere to be found at Finnich Gorge. Now, we did drive. My parents and I picked up a rental car and then just drove on up to see the Devil's Pulpit, but I believe you can take mass transit. There are bus options. If you're willing to make a full day of it, there are bus options, but then that also involves, I think, about an hour-long walk from where you get off the bus. I think the nearest bus stop is like an hour-long walk to Finnich Gorge. So if you're willing to do a bit of a walk on the side of the road, absolutely go for it, although I would say if you're not willing to do a bit of a walk on the side of the road, the Devil's Pulpit may not be for you, because getting down into that gorge is steep. My legs were burning for like 3 days afterwards, and I climb rocks. I climb on like a semi-regular, I'd say more than semi, I climb like 3 times a week. The descent into the gorge is very steep and a bit treacherous. They do have a rope that goes along these sort of makeshift stone steps into the gorge, although steps is, I'm using that word very loosely. They do have a rope that you can hold onto to help steady yourself, which is really great. But once you get down there, it is so worth it. And not to diminish the breathtaking, spectacular natural beauty of the rest of Scotland, but oh my god. Finnich Gorge, it's like something out of a fairy tale. Like, I absolutely could see devil worship happening there. The 3 witches from Macbeth were around the corner. It is completely otherworldly. My parents and I did get a little bit lost trying to find it. We took some wrong directions. I was given explicit direction before we went. Did I listen? Not a lick. But I'm so glad we stuck out that search, because it's so worth it. And if you have the ability, car access, or the ability to walk for like an hour to get there and then climb down into the gorge, do it. Ah, god, it was so good. It was so good. Like I said, if you don't have car access, the Devil's Pulpit is going to be a day trip in and of itself, but if you do have car access and maybe want to extend this to a very long day trip or even a weekend trip, might I suggest driving up past Loch Lomond to check out Glencoe, Fort William, and the Glenfinnan Viaduct. I recently took a road trip up to the Highlands with my cousin and my sister, who was here to visit from the States. And just as with Finnich Gorge, the scenery was absolutely breathtaking. We stopped at the Drovers Inn for a cup of coffee and a bite to eat. The Drovers Inn is not the oldest inn or pub in Scotland, but it is a very old one. It's been around for, I think, over 300 years. We, of course, drove through Glencoe, and this is something that you can do by bus as well. By bus or train, if you want to do a weekend trip up to the Highlands, it's totally doable, or there are even day-long tours that go through Glencoe and Fort William and all the way out to Glenfinnan Viaduct. We got caught in a downpour of rain over at the viaduct, so we didn't stay for very long, but it was still gorgeous, stunning, fun if you're into Harry Potter, and driving rain aside, I definitely recommend. thanks you guys so much for watching this. I hope I've been able to provide some inspiration for a day trip, especially if, like me, you are in Glasgow for the summer doing your dissertation. You are going to need to take a break every now and then, and so a day trip to the Devils Pulpit is definitely a worthwhile break from writing your dissertation. So go for it, and let me know if you meet any fairies, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!